Alright, this week's stuff. It's literally just what's in the packaging here, which would be this box, and this. Normally when I want to order stuff, I do order some stuff in advance. I didn't do that at all this week, simply because, well, let's see, why didn't I do it? Sorry, these are all mixed up and stuff. No. Okay, anyways, why don't we get first with this week's new releases. First up, we have Vampire Knight Guilty. I still have not watched Vampire Knight. Let's see. Then we have Clannad the Motion Picture, which I think is supposed to be just an alternative version of Clannad, although I wasn't able to confirm that, or rather I forgot to confirm that before doing the update. So we have a Pokemon DP Galactic Battles, which would be the 12th season, I believe, the first 15 episodes of it. It's blue, so it's kind of like the first DVD of the 10th season, I think. We'll open it up real fast. This box set contains the individual releases and a piece of paper of some sort. I know this. I have this movie. It's Rotom and the pre-evolved form of Garchomp, whose name I can't remember. It's in between Gibble and Garchomp. Oh well. And let's see. The other thing I ordered, let me put this in the right order real fast, is Sherlock Hound. I bought them all new, since they were all available that way. Paid a bit more for a couple of them. Somebody on YouTube mentioned this, and I decided I'd go ahead and get it. It's basically a simple, well, I don't know much about the series itself, other than Miyazaki did some work on it. And this should be the 6th and final DVD. Let's make sure. It goes up to episode 26, so it probably is. Well, there we go. That's this week's new DVDs. So I guess anime DVD-wise, I guess I don't even really need to check to see what's coming out next week, because even if it's a lot or not a lot, I'm basically okay. I've already ordered something that should be here by then. And that, since it was expensive, I guess that means I'll just do that and whatever DVDs come out next week. Unless, of course, there's only one or two, in which case I'll probably pad that a bit. But, I don't know. Next week's stuff's pretty taken care of. I guess the question is, what about the room updates and, well, okay, for the room updates, over the weekend I was playing Pokemon. I have to say, Pokemon Black and White have been spectacular. So many new Pokemon that I've never seen before. Reinvigorates and gives you that feeling that around every corner, you reach a new cave, you reach a new route, there's going to be new Pokemon to catch. You know, with the release of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, if you were on top of things, they were all Pokemon you pretty much already had anyways. Playing it was fun, but, you know, it was still a part of Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. You could still trade with those, and overall, it wasn't a very isolated experience. So Heart Gold and Soul Silver couldn't recreate the original Gold and Silver experience, I would guess. And Platinum, of course, couldn't do it because it's the middle of Diamond and Pearl. So, since I started playing again with Diamond and Pearl, you know, I've always traded Pokemon with other games and shuffled things around, etc., etc. So when it comes down to Pokemon Black and White, since I can't get any of my previous Pokemon up there any earlier, and I can't really get any of these ones back and trade them up, and I don't have a bunch of items and inventory and access to my vast repertoire of Pokemon availability. Basically, that means that I've been forced to play the game like I would as if I was just going through it, but at the same time, that excitement of what's around the next turn, what's that next gym leader going to throw at me, etc., has pretty much done exactly what they wanted to do, which was to make to try and recreate that Pokemon First Gen experience. Now, Diamond and Pearl did that perfectly for me because I played Diamond and Pearl after a long break of having only played the original Pokemon Red and Blue, and even then, that was only on an emulator. So, I can more compare to my immediate memories of playing Diamond, and it's pretty much the same playing this. It is very exciting. It's been a long time since I've been excited by the prospect of leveling up on wild Pokemon. Of going to a new place and saying, oh, cool, what new Pokemon can I catch here? I've got myself a false swiper. How many Pokeballs do I have? I hope I have enough. What if I... it's exciting. Which is why I didn't do any work over the weekend. And this coming weekend, I actually helping my brother move. So I guess I might not get much done this coming weekend either. But I might be able to do a couple of things before then. In the room update, there are 2 things left for me to do. One of those is to talk about the anime figurines in depth. And the other is I wanted to talk about how the DVDs are stored, since I don't know if I've ever gone into detail like that. Now, I don't want to go over every DVD, and obviously that whole room video that I posted earlier in the month, that's not the way I naturally store the DVDs. In fact, if you go to the previous video, you can probably find my yakety sax putting all the DVDs away from January of last year. I didn't do that this year because it was a much more massive task to even get them out around in the first place. I would not have been able to do it as thoroughly as I did. So, that pretty much leaves those 2 things. It has also been asked that, I've never shown y'all anything about the anime media server other than the brief view in the beginning of the room updates. So, I might try and do that. I guess all I have to do is install Putty on my computer there, and then I would be able to just record myself working on the desktop, and y'all would get to see a lot more information about the anime media server. For those of you still curious, anyways. Anyways, I guess the final thing to talk about, since I don't know if a lot of people are curious about what I think about the Japanese earthquake and tsunami. It feels unrealistic. The few people that I know there are all okay, so it almost feels like it didn't happen, even though I know it did. And I think plenty of people should be familiar with that concept, that disconnect from reality. Maybe it'll sink in at some point. But since I would assume it's not going to affect the anime DVD market until new stuff isn't able to come over, it pretty much doesn't seem like it'll have an immediate effect on my life. And isn't that a very odd concept? So I haven't done much about it. I don't know if I really plan to, because I'm not really trying to be a leader here. So, if y'all were hoping to hear that I donated $1,000 to something or something like that, I'd say if I had an extra $1,000 to do that, I probably would, but I don't have that extra $1,000. So maybe I should donate $10 to a Red Cross or something like that. Of course, I don't know where to do that. I don't know which one would cause that money to blah 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 blah. I don't know. Maybe y'all could give me some information, because I'm not a very motivated individual sometimes. So maybe y'all could find the information I need. I'm not asking for it, but maybe y'all know it better. Anyways, that's this week's anime DVD collection update. We'll see you next week.